Hey everyone, I want to pop in, just make this quick video of where essentially I compare and contrast doing trends on Redbubble versus doing trends on Teepublic. Now you guys know me, I'm not like the type of guy that sits there and does trends all the time. Maybe 90% of the time I do not engage in trends unless there's something that kind of works out to where I did a design and then much later the trend rises by, luck, and all of a sudden I'm making money off the trend. That's really one of the only times out of the few times that I actually engage in trends and actually make money. So to be clear, the reason why I don't engage in trends, I just believe that sometimes it's a little bit too competitive. And me personally, I look at it like a long-term income kind of thing. I don't want to sit here and work on trends for a day and then make sales, if I end up making sales, for a couple days and then never make sales again. Really, that's not for me. I'm looking for things that have long-term search volume. It doesn't matter if there's 100 people searching for that one keyword today or 10,000. That's irrelevant to me. I care about the long-term approach. A year from now, is somebody going to be searching for it? 2 years from now, is somebody going to be searching for the design? That's kind of my concept. Now, with Redbubble is going to give you a less chance of success if you chase for trends. And when I speak on this, guys, I'm speaking on just general averages. We're talking about, straight up, what's the chance of actually making a sale? I think you have a higher chance of making a sale if you're going for a trend on Teepublic than you do on Redbubble. Now, don't get me wrong, there are benefits and there are pros and cons to each one. The first one is that with Teepublic, we have seen less SEO dominance on Google through Teepublic versus Redbubble. So that's the first thing. Now, there could be a few reasons for that. There could be the fact that there's less designers and they're creating less designs. Could be for the fact that Teepublic is more selective in who they choose to accept into their platform, right? But it also could be because Redbubble doesn't have any kind of approval process. You just create a design and you're good to go, right? Your designs are, in the public view. So there's a few situations like that. That's the first thing. The second thing is that, and this is actually a pro for Teepublic, is that the fact that there is less competition makes it a better experience for the sellers of Teepublic, right? So for example, let's just go over here and search for adult apparel, and it doesn't matter what button you click because it's all going to be the same anyway. And we go over here to top tags. You have music, anime. These are what we call general tags, so it's not really something that you're going to be able to specifically go after and make money after, but it says here, vote, we're ruthless, right? This is something very specific. If I click on this right here, guys, and I make designs for this, I have a better chance of making designs and selling and making money on Teepublic than on Redbubble, whatever Redbubble trend there is, simply because I have a better chance of actually producing some sort of income. The reason why I say that is because, and this is just an interesting design to me, I don't know why, but the reason why I say that is because if we take a look at Teepublic, there's drastically less competition. And you can actually, quote-unquote, game the system with the certain tags that you can put and things like that. And we showed how to do that with the Teepublic course. For those who don't know, on autopilotpassiveincome.com, we have a Teepublic course. And something in the Teepublic course that we showed was tag nomination. And Teepublic chooses what tags your design is accepted for, as opposed to Redbubble. When you create a design, every tag that you add, you're accepted for, meaning you're going to be somewhere in the search queue. You might be on page 10, you might be on page 50, you might be on page 1000, but you're still going to be in the search queue. That doesn't actually work that way with Teepublic. With Teepublic, there are certain tags that you're going to be nominated for, and there are certain tags you won't be nominated for, which in and of itself makes things better for sellers, right? Because if there is more selectivity as a seller, there's less spam, there's less annoyances, there's less people who are going to steal your work, there's less all of that, right? And I'm not saying that it doesn't go on Teepublic where there's theft and spam and things like that, but it's drastically less on Teepublic than it is on Redbubble, right? So those are some things that you want to keep in mind. Now, Redbubble, of course, has the ability to capture more trends just because of the nature of their platform, right? Whatever letters you type, if I type in F here, I'm going to see trends based on the word F. So like Fall Guys, funny cat dad jokes, right? Festival Radon, what I'm not sure what that is, but shout out to whoever does that. The letter D, we have Deborah James, dog eating a pizza, Doug Hyde. If I take this trend, right, and I create a design on it, now there's a good chance that I could make, there's a good chance that I'll be seen, but that's not a chance that I might necessarily make money, and I'll explain what I mean by that. And I've spoken about this before. We've dedicated a few whole videos to this, but with Redbubble, you can also, quote-unquote, game the system by moving up the ranks just based on your keywords. And that comes into the point where you have account creation. When you create the account, when you create the design, you'll be somewhere up in the ranks if you tag properly. Like I said, we went over this in the Redbubble tagging course. But what happens is when you're dealing with a situation with a trend on Redbubble, it's very rare that you have thousands and thousands of customers looking to buy certain designs. And if that was the case, right, if it was the case where there are going to be thousands of designs customers looking to buy designs, everybody would get a piece of the pie. That doesn't really happen on Redbubble. A lot of the times when there's a trend, only 2, 3, 4 designers will make money. And I'm talking about these smaller trends, right? If there's like 1,000 results, 500 results, 600, 300, 200, there's not really a huge chance for you to make a lot of income unless you're at the very, very top, which is hard because it's a timing game. It's a timing process. And obviously, since it's so hard, people end up, unfortunately, stealing other people's work, right? And this is probably a bad example, but you can see here these two are the same design. Now, granted, they're from the exact same person, but this is not unheard of. People will just literally steal your design to put it on theirs in hopes that they'll make money. It happens all the time, right, on Redbubble. Now, granted, it does happen less on Teepublic, but I don't want to digress here, right? When you create a trend, when you act on a trend with Teepublic, if you catch, timing, of course, if you catch the trend early, you can potentially make money just simply off the fact that there's much less competition, right? So that competition makes a huge difference. And just to give you guys a spectrum here, Teepublic gets 3 times less the views that Redbubble does in terms of page views, traffic, things like that, but has more than 10 times less the creators. What that means is that there's a gap there. There's a gap in the ratios if you look at it. That means there's less competition on Teepublic, right? So there's a good chance, especially if you're on Teepublic, to get in early, to get the work done. And we shown this on the Teepublic course. If you look here, there's a chart that I showed here, the trending chart. Teepublic now is exactly where Redbubble was back in August of 2013. That's where it is now. And so if you ever had the chance to get in on Redbubble at 2013, who knows how many designs there were at the time. Like if you go here and you go to Redbubble and you just delete this and you just search for just whatever, there's 40 million designs on Redbubble right now. Just a few months ago I checked, it was 35 million. A few months before that, it was 31 million. Imagine back in 2013 how many designs there were. I don't know, maybe 2 million, 1 million, right? Who knows? Who knows how many designs? But that's not the point. The point is that competition does make a huge difference. Now, I'm not saying also that it's all the time going to go in your favor if you go to a less competitive platform, because that's not the case either. It really depends on the ratio of traffic to competition. But that's when you're dealing with trends, because trends, you're not creating the organic view, you're playing into it. So if people are searching for example, vote We're Ruthless, and your design pops up, you're playing into the trend. You're not creating views out of thin air. When you create, let's just say you create a basketball design, and actually basketball is a bad example because I believe it is a trend. Is it a trend here? Yeah, it's a trend. Let's say you create something that's not a trend. Let's say you create a design that's a dolphin wearing a sombrero. Let's just say that, for example. Let's just say there's 10 searches a month for a dolphin wearing sombrero t-shirt. you post that design, let's say on Teepublic or Redbubble, doesn't matter, and somebody sees your design, they buy it. That's just from organic, right? That's not from trends. That's not from something that's, surged. There's no surge through that. You're essentially creating that organic sale. But with a trend, you're not creating that organic sale. What you're doing is you're jumping, and even though it could be organic, so don't get me wrong, it could be organic, like the process could be organic, but you're jumping into something that there's an unnatural surge in its search behavior, which, like I said, is a temporary kind of thing. So it's something to be aware of, and it's mostly like the reason why I don't really jump into trends too often, and I don't really worry myself too about it. Because if I click on like any one of these trends here, there's going to be designs that already exist for this kind of stuff, right? Like, look, Eddie Munson. Look how many designs there are for this kind of stuff. I'm not going to jump into something like this and expect to actually make money. And the reality is, I won't be able to make designs better than this. Like, this art, I'm not going to sit here and do an art piece and start drawing and do all that. That's not me, right? That's not me. I'm quick. I could do 60 designs in a half hour. I'm not going to sit here and do something like this or like this, right? I'm maybe like this. I could do designs like that, but when we're talking about something that's graphical, artistic like this, that's not my style art. That's not the way I'm going to make money, right? Because I know it works best for me. So it's just a different approach for everybody and what they want to do, but this is just my personal opinion. And the stats backed by for trends on what's more profitable, Redbubble or Teepublic. But also, the trends could be sometimes a little bit different between Redbubble and Teepublic. So for on Teepublic, like we see here, there's a trend that has basketball here. If I search for BAS, the basketball is not a trend. Basketball team is a trend, but basketball is not a trend. Could be for a number of reasons, could be a whole lot of situations, but regardless, it's not a trend. So my point here is that the trends are different on each platform, right? Now, Redbubble is a larger platform, so if there's a trend, let's just say I type in the letter F here, Festival Radon. Maybe that this is a trend because it's a macro economy. I can take this trend and search for it here and then create designs for it here. But that'll be for a different video of a different time. All right? I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Bye.